morning, Facebook. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on, Facebook. This way. Right. Facebook. Good morning. Good morning. This is day 7 of the 20-day word that I will be giving on this Facebook Live here. And with it being day 7, it's pretty much already a week that we have already come to an end of a full 7 days for the Facebook Live. And I'm still excited. I'm thinking of, I pretty much have everything planned out for each day, but for the 21 day, I'm thinking about doing something really over the top, if you will, for the 21 day. All right. Now, today I want to talk on the subject, how to deal with stress, right? How to deal with stress. Stress is one of those things that we all deal with, right? No matter what color you are, no matter if you're black, white, Latino, Mexican, whatever, doesn't matter what state you live in. Doesn't matter what state you currently are in life, at some point of another, you've experienced some stress in life. And maybe you've dealt with stressful people. Maybe you just dealt with stressful situations. And so today I want to talk about that, how to deal with that stress. The Bible says this in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 34. It says, "Take therefore no thought for the morrow or for tomorrow. For the morrow or for on tomorrow shall take thought or take care of itself." A lot of times we worry about tomorrow, worrying about this, worrying about that, bills, people, just worrying about a number of things. But the text is telling us, don't worry about that. Although it's not easy not to worry about that, but he's giving us comfort to let us know, don't worry about that, because tomorrow is going to take care of itself. What you need right now is some rest. All right. And so what is stress? All right. Stress is your body's way of responding to any kind of demands, any kind of work demands, demands that people may put on you, demands that the world may put on you. Stress can be caused by both good and bad experiences in life. When people feel stressed about something going on around them or inside of their lives, many times, our bodies, they release these chemicals into the bloodstream as well through stress. Some examples of stress on this morning can be the death of a loved one, right? That can be a stressful time. You're having to pay for a funeral, pay for the burial, all those things, get family together, make obituaries, make slideshows, and experiencing and doing all those things, you're missing your loved one. Your loved one is no longer here on the earth to share precious moments with again. Another example of stress can be divorce, right? You've been with a person for quite some time, been married, maybe even have children, but now the person that you're so familiar with, just spending majority of your life with, income with, now you're, facing divorce. So that can be a stressor. The loss of a job can be a stressor, right? You're used to getting direct deposits, bi-weekly, weekly, or once a month, and that would take care of bills. That would pay a car note. That would, that income, would buy food. That income would buy clothing. That income would buy, shoes and clothing for your children, right? That can be a stressor, losing your job. Another stressor of life can be the increase of financial obligations, right? You got more bills to pay for, right? You got more things to pay for as well. A stressor can also be getting married, right? Getting married, making sure the venue is right, making sure the dress is right, making sure the suit is right, making sure that everybody show up. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that everybody comes to the rehearsal, right? Making sure of all those things. Another stressor of life can be moving on to a new season in your life, or moving into a new home, or getting a new job, right? You're going to be meeting new people, so you're going to have to deal with that. Maybe personality differences, moving into a new home, right? You got to get things together, so sometimes that can stress us out. Another thing that can be a stressor for us as well is dealing with chronic illnesses, right? Going and having to have doctor checkups, and taking medication, and not feeling at your best, not feeling the way that you used to feel, the way that you know that you should feel. That could be a stressor. Another stressor can be emotional problems. Dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety, dealing with anger, dealing with grief, dealing with guilt, and dealing with low self-esteem. And so some warning signs before we go into our 2 points. I think I got 2 or 3 points. I got 3 points on today. Some warning signs of stress can be having headaches, having muscle tension, or having, every now and then. I know for me, sometimes when I'm at work, just a personal story here. Need some more water, church. Just for me personally, many times when I'm at work, it's desk work and everything, and I'm always looking at the computer, typing and researching things, and so many times I get those muscle tensions, and I get some stress in my neck. My neck has to pop. I got to do all this type of thing right here. That can be a sign that some stress is coming to you. Back pain can be some warning signs of stress. A upset stomach, a dry mouth, chest pains, and rapid heartbeat can be warning signs of stress. Some of us experience difficulty falling asleep and staying asleep. Many times that can be the warning signs of stress. Many of us experience fatigue, and that can be a sign of stress. Many of us have a loss of our appetite, or many times we overeat because that food is comforting to us because of the amount of stress that we've been experiencing. And some of us experience frequent colds because of stress that may be becoming upon our bodies. All right. So now, how do we deal with stress? Number one on today is that we ought to concentrate on things that are calming. Right. How do you deal with your stress? Number one is concentrate on things that are calming. The Bible says in Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8, I think we talked about it not last night, but the night before, thinking on things that are pure, thinking on things that are good, lovely, of good report. Think on these things, right? Things that are calming to us. And many times in today's society, we get caught up in noise. Not only do we get caught up in noise, but we get caught up in noise and confusion, right? Noise, music, right? Music is loud. Now, don't get me wrong. I like music. I love music. I produce music. I make music. I make beats. Some people send me their vocals. I edit their vocals. I love music. I like all kinds of music, right? I like church music. I like a cappella music. I like R&B, old school. I like everything. I like trap music. Come on, somebody. I like it played loud as well. But many a times, some of the music that we may listen to, it's destructive. It's destructive to the world, and I don't do that destructive type of music. I don't. If you're wondering, I wonder, he said he's a preacher, he doing all this, said he doing this. I don't produce destructive, degrading type of music, right? But some of the music that we just might hear by osmosis, just by driving in a car and maybe turning on the radio, right? Some of that music is destructive. It's destructive to the world, and then it becomes, once we listen to it long enough, it becomes destructive to our minds, and so it's not calming. All right. Now, dealing with concentrating on things that are calming, and how to deal with stress. we have to be around people that influence calming things, right? Be around people that influence coming, people that are on the level, that are level headed, right? My dad is, he's level headed. He's calm just about any and every, and I guess that's why I'm calm about, a lot of things in my life, because, all haywire can be breaking loose, but I'm just still over here just, just sitting like this, probably just like this, thinking of, what I can do next, not, escalating things or anything, but just being calm. And I just like being around calm people. My dad's one of them. My preacher, Dr. Warren G. Blakeney Sr., he's a calm individual, right? Anything can just be happening. He's just sitting back calm, right? We have to be around people that influence calmness in our lives. And true enough, after a while, it'll, show in our lives as well. That thing will rub off in our lives as well. Many times, dealing with, how to deal with your stress and being around calm people, many times what will help us deal with our stress, to be really honest and truthful on today, is that being around, God's nature of what God created. Being around trees, being around hills and valleys, and that will relax the mind. And I like sometimes just going outside, right? If you're dealing with stress, just sometimes just really just get out the house, honestly. Get out the house, go for a walk around in the neighborhood, right? Or go to a gym, or just start driving, or look at some hills, or go to like a little mountain that you can, or a little trail or something, a little track that you can walk on. And just be around God's nature. Breathe in God's nature, right? It's raining right now here in Tulsa, but, hey, just go outside and, let the rain hit you. Let a few drops hit you. That's God's nature, right? Take a couple deep breaths. Listen to soothing music, right? Listen to soothing music. Many times I like to listen to while I'm on my way to work, many a times. And my wife, really shouts out to my wife on this morning. We were riding. She was riding in my car one day, and she liked to play with my radio. She liked to just, I guess it was on Rush Hour when Chris Tucker said, told Jackie Chan, man, don't you ever touch a black man radio. And, sometimes she just liked to mess with me. And so one day she was just messing around with the radio and ended up finding this classical music station here in Tulsa. I think it's 98.1. And it's really soothing. It's all classical music, just all instrumentation, but it's nice and it's soothing. And I like to listen to that while I'm on my way to work, because it just calms me down. Because before I, go to work, I've already worked out, done already had boxing practice and all that type of stuff, done ran. And so now I just need to kind of calm down, mellow out, so I can continue on with my day. And so by listening to positive music, soothing music, it will help us when we experience some stress in our life. And then once we do it on a continual basis, once we do all these things on a continual basis, like I said, we'll end up like, how I stated about how my dad is, kind of how I am a little bit right now, kind of how my preacher is, right? Just calm about everything. Anything can be happening, but, I got my routine. I'm sure they have their own routines too, and they're just calm, right? Influenced by calm people, all right? The second thing on today, dealing with our stress, is that we have to cooperate or deal with inedible conditions, all right? Cooperate or deal with inedible conditions. I really can't say that word, right? Inedible, right? INEVITABLE. What that really is things that are unavoidable, right? Unavoidable conditions, inescapable conditions, rare conditions, unpreventable conditions, right? Cooperate and deal with these conditions, right? Many a times, we just, may experience, the car breakdown. Sometimes that is just an unavoidable condition, right? Especially if your car is in good condition, right? I remember one time I was heading to work. I don't know, when was this? Maybe a couple of months ago. couple months ago, heading to work, I locked up the house, the alarm system is on, I get in my car, I try to press my button to start it up, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, man, what's going on? Ain't nothing wrong with my car. It gets it gets routine checkups. Nothing should be wrong with my car. Nothing at all. And I just had to literally deal with that situation. Nothing major really happened. What happened was, I guess I left my lights on and just like ran the battery all down and everything and blase. But I had to just deal with that situation because, hey, I know my car don't start up right now. My wife at work. I'm going to be late to work because I'm going to have to find somewhere to get to work. I might not even be able to go to work because I don't know what's going on with the car. Got to figure out what's going on with the car first, right? And so that was, an unavoidable, unpreventable type of condition that I was dealing with. And sometimes life just hits us with those things, and we have to be able to, combat those things and just really cooperate with it and deal with it and just be calm. Right? Just be calm about it. The Bible tells us this in Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. It says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him. Right? Many of us, many people, they suffer with stress because they struggle and fight against those inevitable conditions. Right? We fight against those inescapable conditions. We fight against those unavoidable conditions, those rare conditions, right? When we ought to just go ahead and cooperate with it so we can get it done with, right? Many times we experience things, those unpreventable conditions, and, we just sit back just thinking about, oh, woe is me. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. And, before we know it, it's 2 hours done rolled by and we still sitting in the same spot, haven't done anything about the situation, haven't done anything about the condition, when we really should just go ahead and cooperate with it and deal with it so that it can get past us and we can climb and move on to the next thing that life may throw us or give us. On this morning, we have to know also that we should have confidence, even though we may be experiencing the stress in our life, because Jesus Christ himself, he conquered stress because he did not fret about difficult situations, right? What Jesus did, right? He simply turned impossibilities into opportunities. And we should do the same thing, right? He turned impossibilities into opportunities, and he didn't fret about situations. He wasn't stressed out about difficult situations, right? Going back, I think I talked about it last night. It's just, I can't leave the story alone, right? A stressful situation, right, was when the disciples were rolling in the boat. Jesus in the low part of the ship, and, the winds is moving, the currents is moving. The disciples think that they're going to essentially die because of this wind. But Jesus is down in the lower parts of the ship and Jesus is asleep, right? Now, for myself now, I can swim, but when it comes to being in the ocean and stuff like that, give me a life jacket, cause I don't know, I might get caught, my hamstring might get caught. I don't want to get caught out in the ocean, and I can't do anything. And that's literally what I did when we were on a vacation. The wife and I, we on the boat, and they say, hey, you guys can jump in the water. I'm like, I can swim, but I need me a life jacket. Because I don't want to get caught in a difficult situation, and I gotta holler and call for help and stuff like that. And maybe nobody will be able to hear me, but I don't want to get caught. Give me a life jacket. And Jesus was that life jacket, so to speak, for these disciples, right? They were, just terrified of the storm, right? Thought they were gonna lose their life, but Jesus, he wasn't stressed out like those disciples were, right? He saw this as an opportunity to show them that when you become stressed out, call on me, call on Jesus when you're stressed out, right? And he'll make things better for you. Sometimes dealing when we deal with our stress, sometimes we have to accept the fact that in the situation that we're in, that we are completely powerless, right? ain't no power, right? We are completely powerless when we face many of our situations, right? And we can't really do anything about it but allow another power that is mightier than our power to help us, right? And that being Jesus Christ, to help us and go ahead and put everything in the hands of God, right? That's what the disciples had to do. That's what Peter had to do when Peter was walking on the water, right? And, at first he was terrified. He thought that Jesus was a ghost. Disciples thought that Jesus was a ghost. But Peter was about that life. And he said, Lord, if that's you, tell me to come near to you. So Peter, he's walking near to Jesus. But what happens? He perhaps felt the wind move, right? He perhaps saw the thunder roaring and the lightning flashing, right? And maybe he turned around and looked at the ship, and the ship was swaying, and then looked at the water, and then he began to sink, right? But then, I like what Peter did, is because he was in a difficult situation. He was sinking, but he cried out for the Lord to help him, and Jesus grabbed his hand and he helped him on up because he put everything in the hands of Jesus. And what I like about the story with dealing with Peter walking on the water, the text says, when we go back and read that text, says that he was sinking, right? Peter was sinking. Now, sinking is a verb. He was going down. But it does not mean that he had sunk, that he had went under, right? Peter was sinking, but he did not go under. And that brings good news to us that, many times we may be sinking. We may be just stressed out to the max, but we have not went under. We have not lost our mind. Our hair have not went out. Our bills have still been getting paid. Food has still been going into our stomachs, right? Everything is still on the up and up. We're still blessed. You still got a good beating heart. You still can walk. You still can call your friend. You still can call your children, right? You still got a job that you can go to, right? You still got loved ones that care about you, right? But you got to put it all in the hands of Jesus when you experience that trouble in your life, all right? I'll leave you with this last point. Well, really, I don't guess that's the last point. It's going in line with that same point I just talked about. Is that dealing with our stress, we just truly have to give it over to God. The Bible says this in Matthew chapter number 11, verses 28 through 30. It says, and we're all familiar with this scripture too, but it says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me. For I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. He goes on to say in this last concluding verse that for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. We ought to take it on over to Jesus because his yoke is easy and his burden is light. The struggles of life that we're carrying on our shoulders, what he wants us to do is give it on over to him. Because what he's dealing with, his yoke is easy and his burden is light. So here you go, Jesus. Here you go, Lord. That's what we ought to be doing. Here you go. Because hey, we got too many more things to be doing. Life is too precious for us to be stressed out about nonsense. Go ahead and give it on over to Jesus. This morning, I hope this lesson blessed you. If you're dealing with stress, or if you know someone that may be dealing with stress, maybe you can go ahead and share this video to them, or even watch this video on the replay with them as well. But I hope you have a good day on today. Don't be stressed out today. If you find yourself in a difficult situation, give it to Jesus. Give it to Jesus this morning. All right. Till next time, today was day 7. Tomorrow will be day 8. And I hope to see you on next time. Good night, or have a good day.